Hello and welcome. Today we are in the Tier 10 US battleship, the Ohio. And today is something different, in that I actually have not only one game for you, not two games for you, I have three games for you, and they're all in the Ohio. And they are all casted from replays that were sent to me by Magi. And they're pretty good games, I have to say. And Magi does the pro gamer move at the start of the match, which is to AFK for the first 40 seconds of the battle, because that ensures a much better match for you. That's true. That's exactly what every Battleship player should do. And when you see some of your teammates AFK at the start of the battle, that's probably what they're doing. They're just preparing to have a great match, okay? Next up, everybody starts moving towards the cap zones. And this is on the map north, so we have three cap zones, A, B, and C. And it seems that everybody's moving towards cap zones in a diagonal fashion. And the red team seems to be doing basically the same thing, because going after actual cap zones is overrated, right? Because that would be trying to win the game. What you really should be doing is sail parallel to the cap zone so you can shoot the red team without actually taking the cap points, so that the game becomes more interesting, you know? By the way, Magi actually is playing a secondary build, as in, at least by her words, it was a full secondary build, and I noticed that she even has Expert Loader, which is quite surprising. Also, another thing I'd like to point out is, look at how amazing this camouflage is, right? It looks so beautiful. Isn't this exactly what you would want on a battleship? I mean, look at how well it blends in with the water to make your ship less visible. This is a true pro gamer move. Anyway, the Grozovoi comes around. For some reason, Magi decides to use her scout plane to fire at the Grozovoi. Even though I think she could actually see the Grozovoi from the position she was at, but whatever. You know, as long as it helps hit the target, it's fine. Grozovoi takes 3k damage, that's 2 over penetrations, and that's actually over 10% of the HP of a Grozovoi. Which, if you think about it, actually hurts quite a bit. I mean, that would be like Magi taking like 10,000 damage in salvo. Which is basically what just happened. And it's not like Magi flinched to it, because she didn't even react to those shells incoming. But that's okay, because she still has 87k HP left. Next up is a shot on that Prince Eugen, that's at a nice 18 kilometer away. She thinks she is being really smart by angling. Well, actually she probably slid out of the smoke by accident, but that's her thing to worry about. And she took a nice 10k damage. I'm surprised that none of those were citadel hits, but that's fine. I suppose the armor scheme of Prince Eugen is pretty good. The Grozovoi decided that she really likes that position, so she's going to stick in that position for even longer. Because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So the shells that keep hitting the Grozovoi actually improve the Grozovoi's strength. Now, Magi is in a division with 2 destroyers, so this means that all the destroyers are in Magi's division and should be competent. Which means that they shouldn't be going down very quickly. And they shouldn't be doing the things that Grozovoi is doing. Honestly, if it had been me, I would have taken a blind shot into that smoke screen. Or behind the island there. But Magi waited, and she saw that the Grozovoi kept reversing away. Which is why she probably didn't get any kind of reward for it, because the Grozovoi just kept reversing away. Next up though, I think there's a Conqueror firing on Magi. And it seems as though it's not HE actually. Wait, no, I think it is HE. Never mind. Which started a fire? I would press the R button immediately at this point, because what else is going to set you on fire at this moment? Like, look at the minimap right now, right? there's nothing that can torpedo you, so you can't take any floodings. And nothing else can even try to hit you with HE, so why would you not damage on this fire? So, I think using damage control party in that position was a good idea, but Magi decided not to. She decided to use a heal instead. She's also turning her guns in a weird way by just looking into empty space and doing nothing at all. You know, Magi, you can just point your camera in one direction, then press Ctrl X, and then spin your camera around like you seem to want to do all the time. Because then the guns will just turn into that position, and you can still pay attention to what's going on the map. Well, I suppose in the 3D map. You can obviously still look at the minimap while doing what you did. That was actually a suggestion to everybody else, because I'm sure Magi knows about it. Anyway, next engagement is with Sovietsky Soyuz. That seems to be advancing on Friedrich der Grosse, Bismarck, and Ohio, which is a terrible idea by the Soviet battleship. But I'm sure her amazing armor will help her out. Especially if you angle, even slightly. Then the citadel suddenly become impossible. 13 key damage is something, but it's not amazing if we're honest. Then again, the reverse hit from the Soyuz did basically nothing. There are the delicious secondaries opening up, which start fires. By the way, Magi switches to HE now, and because she has expert loader, this only takes like 6 or 7 seconds. Which is quite surprising to me that somebody would take expert loader on a battleship. I don't recommend it, but maybe actually it is good, because I haven't ever tried it. It just doesn't feel like it would be good. Next up is this duel with the Soyuz, and by duel I mean 3 versus 1, and the Soyuz is going to lose this, because there is no chance of winning. Because she overextended, to be honest. It'll take a while, because the Soyuz is angled and nothing can overmatch the bow of such a ship. At least none of the ships here right now. But the fires and secondary should be able to do their job. She is getting a smoke screen, so we know where the Z-46 is, which is next to that Sovietsky Soyuz. But that smoke screen isn't going to help too much, because the Soyuz is actually behind the smoke screen, and Magi could easily launch a scout plane, which would see the Soyuz over the smoke screen, so that would be just fine. The other thing is that the Soyuz can't actually fire her guns, because if she does, well, she gets spotted. But I suppose Magi maybe didn't realize that the Soyuz was behind the smoke screen, or maybe I missaw that one. So she doesn't launch the scout plane. But regardless, the Soyuz is visible anyway, so it's fine. And next up is actually the much more delicious shot on the Des Moines, which is 14 kilometers away. She is trying to do weird things. Magi is, I think, rightly so, holding her shot for a while, waiting for the Des Moines to turn in, which she did now. And that should actually hurt quite a bit on the Des Moines. Or maybe it just didn't. Then again, 7k it's something, but I was expecting more from that salvo. Shokaku decided that she doesn't like her pilots, so she flew them into a Musashi, a Gearing, and Ohio's anti-air. Next shot on the Des Moines again. Let's see if this has more success. Well, we could be looking at the beautiful shells, but Magi decided to look into the island instead. But luckily, it was a beautiful shot. Too bad we didn't actually see it, right? Because Magi was looking at the stupid island over here. I don't know what's so fascinating about this island. I really don't know. Anyway, next up is a broadsiding Montana. Well, she's not exactly broadsiding. She's kind of broadsiding. Yeah, and she's turning away. Yeah, this isn't actually going to be anything amazing, because the angle is too bad at this point. 8k damage though is more than I expected actually. but 3 ricochets is kind of more what I expected, but the Montana seems to be unsatisfied with that. She is showing some more broadside, so Magi can take better shots this time. Right, I mean, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Which seems to be the Montana's thinking, although I think Magi is aiming actually a bit low on that one. It's kind of hard to tell it without the aiming indicator. First one was actually spot on, the second one was a bit low. I suppose the time delay difference is what made the difference, because Montana turns away slightly more in that time. Oh, and this Soyuz seems to be pushing for some reason, which is an absolutely idiotic idea, because she's gonna be caught between a Musashi and an Ohio. Oh, and the Z-46 is pushing too. That's an even worse idea, okay? That's a destroyer. I mean, come on, this destroyer is gonna have such a bad time. Watch this, okay? Boom! Only one over-penetrate, because this Z-46 has the best RNG in the world. The torpedoes should be able to finish off the Soyuz. That Z-46 is so damn lucky, I mean, incredibly lucky to just only take one over-penetrate from that, but not as lucky to dodge the Gearing's torpedoes, which is why the Gearing got the double strike just now. Well played on unorthodox. And that takes care of the Gearing and the Soyuz, or the Z-46 and the Soyuz. So the enemy team does not have any more destroyers. So it's time to just wrap up. Now, the question is, in this kind of situation, obviously the Gearing goes to the A cap and tries to take it. The question is, who goes to the B cap? Should Magi go into the B cap with the Ohio? Or should it be left to the Musashi? In this current position, my thinking as the Ohio would be to go for the B cap right away. Because, you know, you never know what your teammates do, so if you want something done, you have to do it yourself. But at this moment, I would change my mind. I would actually try to sink this Musashi and Montana. Because, I mean, they're basically asking for it by showing so much broadside. Oh, and the Gearing actually found the Shokaku. Which is a good and bad thing, because it's very difficult for a destroyer to actually sink a CV without torpedoes. But it's a good thing because we know where the CV is. It's also a bad thing because this means that it's easier for the Shokaku to hit the Gearing and try to decap. But I suppose the Gearing can always just fall back into smoke, right? Anyway, the Montana seems to be not disengaging quite as much as I would like to. I would be disengaging much more with the Montana if I were in her position, to try to just get further away so that the Montana would become less effective of a target and she would still be a threat for the Ohio for a long time to come. I think this shot isn't very good. The aim, in my opinion, could have been better, but I suppose minor mistakes like that happen to everyone. And I was actually wrong, because that was a nice shot. I mean, it did 6k damage, more than I expected. She tries to do basically the same type of shot again, but I think this time it's going to be less effective because the Montana is slowing down. Yeah, it was less effective, although I think this time it was because of RNG. She just didn't get lucky with where the shells went. She's gonna aim more towards the middle because the Montana is standing still, but now she is actually accelerating, so these aren't exactly on point either. Unfortunately, they did no damage this time. But our scheduled programming with Montana versus Ohio is going to be interrupted by a Conqueror that seems to be intent on disrupting this. By showing broadside, Conqueror, you need to learn that Royal Navy battleships do have a citadel now, as far as I know, which is why she just lost 46k of her HP in one salvo. And now she's gonna go away, courtesy of the secondaries. Next up is the Moskva, I think, because the Montana is behind an island, and the Musashi has been taken care of. Unfortunately, Magi's teammate, the Kitakaze, has already gone down, but the Gearing has taken the A cap and the Musashi is at least blocking the B cap. So that should actually allow the green team to win fairly easily. I mean, it's 5 versus 4. And I think that this Moskva goes down. If it were me in the Ohio, I would actually just try to ram the Moskva, because I think it's too dangerous right now to try to do a drive-by. It can work, and you can win much more from the drive-by than ramming, but it could also go very poorly. If the Moskva had pre-aimed her guns, Ohio would be dead right now. But luckily the Moskva didn't do that, so Magi gets away scot-free from it. And at this point there's nothing the Moskva can do. She's already dead, because she ran aground, she is broadside on, and the Ohio is completely angled. It's already over. She should have pre-aimed the guns. And goodbye, little Moskva. And that's a nice 308k damage. Now, for some reason the Musashi decided not to stay in the B cap, but it's okay. The Gearing is going to finish the job and take the B cap. Like I said, you can't really rely on teammates to do things right? I mean, you really expected that that Musashi, after she entered the cap zone, would actually take the cap zone, but she didn't. She just kept sailing. Which is, it could be quite bad. Also, for some reason, Magi is sailing away. I don't understand this one. I would actually be sailing closer to that Neptune, but I suppose maybe Magi wants to get closer to the Shokaku if the Musashi somehow finds the CV. The green team CV, the Enterprise, is definitely going to go down. There is no way she can escape from the Neptune. She should have turned around and started running a long time ago. But for some reason she didn't. I suppose she expected the Friedrich Grosse to be able to take the Neptune, but that's not what happened. And it seems that Magi is unsuccessful in actually hurting the Neptune. But it doesn't really matter, because the game's over. There's really nothing the enemy can do. Sure, CV going down is going to be a 110 point swing, minus 65 plus 45, which is going to put the red team in the lead for a little bit, but considering that the green team has all of the cap zones, I don't think it's going to matter. So let's just speed through the rest of the game, because I've already watched it before. Nothing happens at this point. Sure, Magi tries firing on the Neptune, but it doesn't have any success. And there's 3 seconds to go, and there's a 150 point difference. What a nice game though, right? I mean, look at the stats. 308k damage, 9 citadels, 2 devastating strikes, 3 ships sunk, and a whole bunch of secondary hits. And this all resulted in a nice 2,985 base XP. Here we can see the damage in the detailed report. Almost all of it comes from the amazing AP the Ohio has, 255k damage. Go check out game 2, it's still in the Ohio and it's just as amazing that Magi sent to me. There will be a link in the corner and in the description. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Activate 2, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.